Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney here with the wonderful, beautiful Jenny.
Hello.
And we have been very busy doing a project in tandem, and it is a Sew the Look. We have done a Sew the Look on the, is it Totem or Totem? We've heard it both ways depending on if you're UK or US coat.
But before we get into that, I want to make sure that if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, head on over to tomcatstitchery.com and get signed up for the newsletter because we have a special treat coming next week for newsletter subscribers.
Yes, next week is my birthday week, and so we have a little birthday gift that we would like to give you guys. And if you're a newsletter subscriber, it's something extra special. So make sure and subscribe to the newsletter, and it is down in the description box. Or you can just go to tomcatstitchery.com, and there, right there in the top bar, it's pretty clear where you can click to join the newsletter. So yeah, you definitely want to do that so that you don't miss out on the gift. Also, the Spring Capsule Wardrobe is going to be coming out soon, and you also don't want to miss out on that free PDF. So stay tuned. All of that is coming up, and you definitely want to subscribe in order to get that. We don't send a lot of emails. Really, every other week, the newsletter comes out. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Coat of Dreams. Now, Jenny, how long have you been wanting a dupe of this coat?
I spotted this coat probably 2 years ago, maybe winter of 2021-22 was the first time I spotted this coat online. It was a beautiful coat. It was in dark gray and immediately had sold out. It was also out of my price range for a jacket. So I was just like, hey, this looks pretty easy, Whitney. You should make me this. And she would be like, ha, ha, ha. And forget. And then I would see it again, and I say, this coat is haunting me. And then, you know, summer came and went, and fall came, and like, hey, the websites were saying, an it jacket for the fall.
Yes.
And it would pop up again, and I'd say, maybe this is the year. And then a second winter went by. And then finally this last fall, we were in New York City, and I said to Whitney, we're making this happen. And we happened to be in Mood Fabric, which was mind-blowing, really.
Very overwhelming.
Very overwhelming.
Yeah.
But out of the racks of wool, she pulled this and she said, this would be perfect for your jacket. And I said, yes. I did not look at the price, and I took it up to the cash register and I said, I will take 3 yards of this beautiful orchid colored Melton wool. And it was $40 a yard, so there was an investment on this fabric, and it weighed about 8 pounds, which put Whitney's suitcase overweight. So
we had
on the plane.
Yes, and we had a panicked moment when Jenny and her daughter did not check a bag, and my daughter and I packed in a single bag. I had just bought silk fabric for myself, which weighs like next to nothing. But there was a panicked moment when I went to check my bag when we were flying home, and she was like, you're 6 pounds over. That's going to be like an extra $140 or something. I was like, ah! So
we worked it out.
Yeah, we pulled this out, and my daughter had bought a textbook at the Met, and that weighed like 10 pounds.
So the fabric made it back, but we couldn't find a pattern. And so I had started searching through all the different pattern companies of what looks like it had the same sort of elements. And Whitney, I'm sure you're going to put the picture up of the inspiration coat.
I would. Yes, that's probably already up.
Okay. Yeah. It's right there.
Yeah. Floating.
But right around the end of November, Style Arc introduced a pattern, and it's called the Wren, and it hit all the tick marks. Yep. I was so excited. I was like, immediately, we have to buy this pattern. So we bought it right away, and then the holidays have come and gone, and last week we cut into the fabric, and this sewed up so fast.
It did. And this was literally a passing off, like, okay, I finished my part, now here, do your part. And then it was, I finished my part, now back to your part. We've been pushing this jacket back and forth between the two of us to get this done. And it did. It went together really quickly. Now, like we said, this is a Melton wool. It is a very thick wool fabric. It feels, there may be some cashmere in here because it feels really lovely. I don't remember. I didn't look at the end of the bolt to tell.
I just looked at the price.
But one of the things about Melton wool is that it does not fray. So you can leave your seam allowances raw, which is what I did. Now, I could have done a flat fell seam on this. However, when I was playing around with the scraps, once we cut the coat, it was just really too, even folding it over on itself was so thick. I mean, going through those layers with the sewing machine was going to be nigh impossible. So what I did was I sewed all my seams right sides together, pressed them open, and then top stitched them down, and then just trimmed.
There's a beautiful
Okay,
back seam.
actually, yes. Yeah. So I top stitched them down and then just trimmed close to that stitching line. The seam allowances on this pattern are 3/8 of an inch, so I didn't have to trim that much, but just to kind of clean things up a little bit. And I think that was the best way for this fabric to treat that. Also, this pattern comes with a facing for the front and the neckline, but because of this, and Jenny's going to talk about, Jenny did all of the trim on the outside. I was afraid it was going to be way too thick to have a facing on the inside and trying to do the crochet edges. So we completely omitted that. I was a little nervous about the buttonholes, that it would stretch because there's no interfacing behind the buttonholes. But because it's such a sturdy fabric, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, and everything has worked out well. So
if you were to do this jacket in a lighter weight, maybe a fleece or even a lighter wool, would you use those facings?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, if I were using a lighter weight fabric, I think I would use the facings. And I would finish off my seam allowances. But I really like how this one turned out. So I put together the jacket. I did the sleeves and put the body of the jacket together. Sewed the scarf 2 pieces together, but it wasn't attached to the coat yet. And then I passed the pockets, the scarf, and the jacket off to Jenny to do all of the finishing.
Now, I will say the construction of this jacket is would be great for beginners because I feel like I could have even mastered this with a lighter weight fabric.
Yeah.
Because really, 2 sleeves, 2 front pieces, 2 back pieces, no edge finishing. Easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
So the wool, like Whitney said, is pretty thick. And I was worried about how I was going to kind of recreate what the inspiration jacket had on it. And that inspiration jacket had a fine edge of a white colored, we decided it was a serged edge.
Most likely. It wasn't really a blanket stitch, but it was blanket stitch-esque, but with more decorative flair.
Yeah. So what I thought it looked like to me, and how I'm going to interpret it, was as a crocheted edge. And Granny Square is very popular right now. Crochet is very popular right now. And I thought really, as my take on the jacket, to emphasize that crocheted edge. So the tool that I used, this was invaluable. This is a leather hole punch tool. You guys probably...
And for denim too. I use it for my denim stuff too when I'm doing rivets and buttons.
I don't know if you guys know this. You can buy this at Home Depot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because when you were when I was looking to buy one, that's where I picked it up.
Yeah.
So Home Depot has this. It has different size holes on it. And I wanted to go with the smallest hole possible that I could because I didn't want the hole to show of the fabric. So I did a little bit of playing and I just dropped my thing, so I'm going to pick it up. And I was trying to figure out, well, what's the spacing? First of all, what is the spacing I want to go from the edge to figure out how many stitches do I do? How does it best define the stitches? And I didn't have this beautiful white yarn yet. I had some other fingering weight yarn that's alpaca, and it was beige. And so I spent a little time just choosing how far along the edge I want to be away from, how many stitches do I want to put in. Now I did a single crochet in each one of those holes. And down here at this end, I did 3 stitches in each hole. And down here at this end, I did 5. And I really liked just how the look of 4 stitches in the middle looked. So my holes are 3/4 of an inch apart, 1/2 inch from the edge of the fabric. And I decided to do 4 single crochets into 1 hole. So I marked out the fabric with some erasable ink. And I gave that hole punch tool to my family members. And I said, please punch away these holes. So it was even a joint effort at my house in that I had help with getting these holes punched and getting them set up. Once I got the holes punched, I grabbed a teeny tiny crochet hook. I used a size D crochet hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter hook. And the yarn I chose is a bright white sock weight yarn. And this sock weight yarn actually has a little bit of nylon in it. It's 75% merino and a little bit and 25% nylon, so it does stretch a bit. And when I was crocheting, I was very careful to not stretch that yarn or to fold the edge. So I had to keep a very loose hand. And I decided what was the right side and what was the wrong side. And I started. It took me, I thought it would take me about 2 hours to edge this coat. And in reality, it took about 5 hours for me to edge this coat.
We all know how that goes, right?
Yeah. And then I took some ibuprofen and put some ice on my wrist. But I absolutely love how it turned out. The buttons, such a cute little highlight on it. The pockets really emphasizing the crocheted edge. And then the scarf, because it's integrated, I can walk around with it open. I can toss one over the shoulder. It's so cute, and it's really, really warm. Now, if I were to do this coat again, and if you are thinking about making this coat, I personally would shorten the scarf to be about the length of the hem. I like how this coat turned out for us, that my sleeves and my hem turned out the same, and I think you went ahead and you added an inch to the body and added an inch to the arms, or did you cut it?
I didn't add anything to the arms because we didn't do the hem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we didn't hem anything. We left it raw. So I guess technically, yeah, the hem allowance was added to the length of the sleeves. But yeah.
But I did
lengthen the body.
I do think that would have been a nice way for us to finish it. And I probably won't take it apart because I just need a break.
Yeah.
My wrist needs a break.
Yeah.
And I think that it does look kind of cute. And then I put the fringe on the end, which I think is adorable. Super easy, just cut some tassels and looped them through. Now, I used this yarn, which has, oh gosh, I'm looking for the yardage. 109 yards was in each one of these little balls of yarn, and I used 2.5 of them. So it actually used more yarn to do the edging than I expected, but I was really glad I bought all 3 balls of yarn when I went to the yarn shop.
Yeah.
And that was really, really good. I would say if you're planning on doing this, one of the things I'd make sure that you do is do that test and figure out how many stitches you want, how close you want those stitches to the edge, and close you want them to each other. But otherwise, this was a really fun project to do as my first project as a full-time Tomcat stitchery. A worker, employee, this is my perk.
A full-time Tomcat?
A full-time Tomcat. And I'm also really excited because it's only the end of January as we're taping this right now. And so I've got at least a good 6 weeks of wearing this jacket, and I'm going to wear the heck out of it.
Yeah. And another thing we did was we rounded off the corners so that there was an easy transition for her to do the crochet around. But yeah, once she finished that, she brought it back to me, and I just top stitched on the pockets. She would move the pockets, she said. I went per the pattern and stuck them on where the pattern suggested, but that's the other thing you said. You would like them a little closer to center front and a little further down.
Lower down. It feels kind of high when you put your hands in.
But I just top stitched right inside where that crochet stopped with matching thread to the orchid color to top stitch those pockets on. And then with the scarf, what I did was I laid the scarf wrong side of the scarf to the right side of the coat and tried to line up the edge of those crochet with the edge of the neck crochet, and then I just top stitched it in place. So they weren't sewn like right sides together and then folded open. They were overlapped, and then it's just top stitched. So then when she's got the coat open, it still looks nice on the inside there of the collar edge, but then also it's finished off really nicely if the scarf is up and that sort of thing.
The other nice thing about the coat, because it is a little bit oversized and it's unlined, I can wear a nice thick sweater under it and not feel like I'm stuffed into a coat if it gets really cold again. Yeah.
But with Style Art Patterns, and I found this as well, if you're in between sizes, or if it's one of their more oversized garments, a lot of times you can size down one, because we talked about that maybe if we were making this again, we made Jenny the 10, but which is what her measurements fall into the 10, but we may size down to the 8 if we were to make this again as well. I think she would still have enough ease for it to be comfortably worn over everything as well.
So total all in on this jacket. So the inspiration jacket is between $1,000 and $1,100 US.
Mhm.
And I think all in on this jacket, we are at about 150 with the materials, the pattern, the buttons, and the yarn.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good. I think we nailed it.
I think we did too.
So now I am on a mission to whatever my next fantasy garment is, and maybe in 3 years you'll see that.
Well, we're together full time now, so you've got more chances to wear me down on things.
That's it.
It's
To
not,
wear you down.
it's not just the little text that you send me every now and again. It's like a little nudge. Now you can stand over me. And
I bought this. I bought this pattern. I bought this fabric, and she's gonna make me sew. She's gonna make me sew.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, a fantastic pattern. Absolutely recommend. If you're looking to make this little jacket super quick and easy.
It's everywhere. You see this coat everywhere.
Yeah.
So yes, that was our big dual project. It was a lot of back and forth, but it was a lot of fun to go button shopping and pick out our buttons and stuff for them, and everything together. It was fun to work with a partner on this.
Yeah.
And to problem solve. There was a lot of problem solving that went into this. And one quick thing before we wrap up, we did not do anything obviously on the crochet on like our shoulder seams or our armhole seams. The inspiration cook does. More than likely, it's a flat lock seam. And if you guys have a serger or use flat lock, and I'm sure they have wonderful industrial sergers that allow yarn basically to go through them, that it's a real loose serging stitch on just with your seams right sides together. And then you pull those seams open and pull them apart. So it's a decorative seam on one side and then ladder lines on the wrong side. And the two raw edges are just butted up against each other on the underneath that decorative stitch. That's what the coat looked like to me when I could see like actual pictures. I just don't have access to a machine that can do that. My machine does do flat lock, but it does not, I couldn't use beautiful like yarn basically. I didn't have access to that. So that's why we decided to just do the outside edges of the coat and just to leave the, the rest of the seams alone.
Yeah. I can't wait to wear it. Let's go out to lunch.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's all we have for today. I hope you've enjoyed this Sew the Look with Jenni's designer coat. I will be back on Friday, and we're going to be talking about my winter capsule wardrobe, my thoughts, and how I've been wearing that. And then I will go through my a week's worth of outfits and how I've been styling my winter capsule. And that'll kind of be the wrap up a little bit of winter capsule. I mean, I'm still wearing my winter capsule, but then we're going to start delving into talking more about spring capsule wardrobes and all that kind of stuff. We've already had our spring looks to recreate. So yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys again on Friday. Bye.